Aaron, how you feel, buddy? I want to thank US Lacrosse and the nominating committee for this amazing honor. And a special shout out to Kim and the staff and volunteers of US Lacrosse to put on this great event. And lastly, hello to the US Lacrosse Strategic Planning Committee, wherever you are. Spending the weekend with you guys has been really special. I'm here tonight because I was nurtured and challenged along the way by my brothers and sisters and great parents. The best players in the world were my teammates, and I had Hall of Fame coaches. My first team was 5 brothers and sisters, Bradley, Joe, Barry, Jamie, and Michael. A team anchored by my parents, Sandy and David. I cannot believe how they juggled and shuttled us in a million different directions, got us signed up for camps in multiple sports, and seemed to give us endless opportunities to try things. I appreciate my parents' sacrifices. My mom, who was always in my corner, who never had the opportunities I did. It was a different society, and although she couldn't play, she made sure I could take advantage of the things that she couldn't. My dad, who stayed up late finishing work after a long day's work, who made time in the day to attend games, worked in the yard, coached Little League, and provided for the family, including all the opportunities for camps and clinics. He was always my biggest fan. I grew up a tomboy who played boys baseball and pitched in the pony leagues until late into my teens. And our house was a sports microclimate. The TV was always dialed into football, the US Open, the Olympics. Right outside our front door was our own personal sport court and field and throwing wall, known as Fort Garrison Elementary School. And I had a very athletic brother who took me under his wing and taught me how to throw behind my back, pitch, and bat righty and lefty. And he took the approach that I need to play with somebody, so it might as well be my sister. To say that he didn't care that I was a girl is slightly exaggerated. He did care, in a great way, that I was a girl and could do all the things that a boy could do. And he wouldn't let an opportunity go by without highlighting the fact that I was his sister. Thank you, Joel. Who could get to the breakfast table or down the basement stairs or to the other end of the pool the fastest was always a competition in our house. My brother Michael and I were 14 months apart. He was my sidekick, and we were dubbed M&M, and he is still one of the hardest workers that I know. Thank you, Michael. It's hard to put into words what it means to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know, to be written into the history of the game is surreal. To be recognized by the leadership of this sport is truly humbling. To experience this living memorial, in a sense, is truly special. And so many things have to go right. And this event is a chance to say thank you and reflect on all the support along the way that's helped make it happen. Amazing athletic trainers who keep you in one piece, like Sandy Worth. Knowledgeable refs like Susie Gansmuller and Pat Dillon. And a spirited and energetic start in the game for me from a passionate head coach in Sue Schaefer. Crazy that I am being recognized for something that I love to do. That's a part of who I am, that's helped me grow, it's taken me around the world, and has delivered a lifetime of passion and purpose, not to mention my profession. It's surreal to be recognized for pursuing my backyard dreams. I owe it to the players who came before me, the women of the USWLA, and the USL after, for providing the foundation of an excellent national teams program, allowing me to dream, to represent my country, and to experience a gold medal ceremony. It's humbling that people value my contributions to lacrosse, when all the while I just wanted to be associated with well-respected programs and people who work hard and work smart to become the best they can. Thank you to the University of Maryland for the tradition of excellence that lured me there, and to the people, community, and teammates I had, like Marianne Meltzer, Bean, and others that are in this room. And to Sue Tyler for recruiting a kid from Pikesville, trusting me with a full ride back in the day, and sharing all the history from the NAIA to the NCAAs. Your personality and your coaching ability allowed me to grow. I'm thankful beyond words that the opportunities existed to play as a Terp and for Team USA. This is an honor that is exciting to share with my fellow inductees, Stan and Peter and Steve and Jay and Marge and Carol, rest in peace, and Aaron, decorated members of the lacrosse community who have had vital contributions to the game of lacrosse. Aaron, a Terp and USA teammate of mine, a USA roommate of mine many times. I don't know who had the wisdom to pair us up on the road, but I definitely got the better end of that deal. You were a person who you could share the highlights with, the jitters, the hopes, the fears, the dreams. And at the end of the training session, you were the person to ask for clarification on the play. And what did she say? How do you do that? Where are you supposed to go? Erin would decorate our room red, white, and blue and create a great atmosphere. She had Terp stuffed animals and other trinkets to remind us of home, of what got us there, and how far we'd come. As a junior college transfer, Erin took nothing for granted, celebrated her experience, valued her journey, and I loved that energy. It's really special to share this moment with you and your presenter, Jess, who is also a college roommate who has a lot of stories to tell. This process has been such a sentimental journey down memory lane, starting off with borrowing a VCR and dusting off the scrapbooks. Many hours flew by watching old game tapes until 3 a.m., and it brought me back to the reality of just how good my teammates and coaches really were. How fast. I'm amazed at Sarah Nelson and Sherry Greer, their speed, my teammates' talent and skill, even after all these years on very low quality VCR tapes, is amazing. And reconnecting with people through emails and texts last night, our social hour, highlighted how special it is to be able to share with teammates and coaches. A special person who you saw on the video has influenced me philosophically for the last 26 years, 15 years as a player and then as a coach. The first time I ever met Sue Stahl, I was a college sophomore. Well, I didn't meet Sue. I heard Sue from 3 fields away at the national tournament. Her reputation as an excellent coach for the national team was growing, and many of us were hedging toward trying out for the U.S. team, and I wanted to see one of her games. I had never heard anyone that loud and that demonstrative in my life. My initial reaction was, there is no way that I can play for this woman. And literally within 3 minutes, I said, I have to play for this woman. What I appreciated most was her competitiveness, and what I learned was, although her bark was loud and her growl was intimidating, she was all heart and took more time with her players than anyone. I was fortunate to be Sue's assistant at Old Dominion for 4 years. During the workday, I would follow Sue out of the building for her smoke breaks. She probably wanted a little peace and quiet, but they turned into long, lax talks. And for me, it was kind of like Tuesdays with Maury, just every day. But this is where I started to understand the structure of lacrosse and how much bigger it was than I. And from Sue and Heather, her former assistant, grew a desire to be involved and the mentality that if you want to impact change or growth, you had to be part of it. At US, we learned that Sue didn't accept excuses. There were no stars. Things were much bigger than yourself. Between Sue and longtime assistant Heather Dow, they brought the US program more wins and gold medals than ever. They taught us how to not try to figure out who was going to make the team or even waste any energy prognosticating. Their gift went beyond talent identification to team identification. We all came to respect their instinct and tough decision-making. They wouldn't choose the 16 best players necessarily. They would choose the 16 best that played together. They demanded concentration, attention to detail, but famous for their sense of humor. They taught us how to flip a switch. We would be cracking up one moment, followed by digging deeper than we ever had the next moment. They taught us so much about being ambassadors of the game and making sure to take nothing for granted. The pride I felt wearing USA on my back was also nurtured with a healthy dose of responsibility that came with it. They made you aware that you were representing America. More specifically, that we might be the only Americans that people had ever had close contact with. Our actions, our words, our behavior might as well have been that of all Americans. We got one shot to make a lasting impression. The game was a platform, and even if we didn't want that responsibility, we were truly representing our country. These were two coaches that you really wanted to play well for. They weren't big on compliments, their standards were high, but it made you work harder. And in time, we learned what they had already known, that if you worked hard, we had a great chance of winning, and that the greatest gift was going to be a lifetime of pride to go along with no greater honor than to play for your country. As a result of playing US, the world got bigger and smaller at the same time for me. I got to experience England, Australia, Japan, but learned that people are people no matter where you go, and that the game of lacrosse is its own international language. I truly believe that your zip code has no bearing on how good you can be in lacrosse. If you want respect, you have to earn it, and that can happen in any part of the country. This highlights one of my favorite quotes, which is to dream of things that never were and ask, why not? It's hard to fathom standing here at the Hall of Fame ceremony when I never played in an actual game until 9th grade. I showed up at Bob Scott's lacrosse camp with my helmet and my shoulder pads and all my borrowed boys' equipment. And he looked at me with that smirk and said, "Honey, you're not going to need that this week." I never ran my first timed mile until high school. And lastly, most people don't know that when I got to college, I really didn't know that you could set up plays from behind the net. This was how little I knew about the game. The game of lacrosse has taken me around the world. It's brought cherished teammates and ignited a true passion. I've had the opportunity to be a teacher, a leader, a mentor, and touch a lot of lives. I got the chance to compete at the highest level. It's given me the opportunity to be involved in the growth and development of the game from the ground floor and create new traditions of excellence. I've lived breaking down the stereotypes and bringing the game west. I've been afforded the opportunity to make history many times over. Before I thank my support crew, there's a stranger that I want to thank. His name is Billy Hunter, and he was a baseball coach at Towson State for many years. When I signed up to go to baseball camp at age 13 with the boys on my team, he called my parents and said, "Unless Michelle is a French boy, she's not coming to camp." Click. Administrators informed us that Towson, being a public institution that received federal aid, it would be a violation of Title IX to prohibit me from coming to camp. So if I wanted to go, I could. And this was the first we ever heard about Title IX. My parents let me think about it and asked if I still wanted to go, knowing that the climate would probably not be favorable. I said yes, I want to go with the kids on my team. And ironically, who do I get as my coach for the week but Billy Hunter, Jr., who as junior would surely make my life miserable for the week. He probably saw the blood drain out of my face when my name was called in his group. He put his arm around me and softly said, "Listen, kid, my dad is a tobacco-chewing good old boy who doesn't deal well with change. Just work hard and have fun and you'll be okay." And the weight of the world seemed to leave my 13-year-old shoulders. At the end of camp, we had competitions, stations, home run hitting, fastest pitch contest, accuracy throw. After I proceeded to throw 7 out of 10 balls from second base into the laundry bin at home plate, I had won that contest. The scene shifted to Billy Hunter Sr. walking me and 4 other boys to the bookstore to give us T-shirts. He didn't say a word. And I could feel the steam coming off of his body. And that was the first time in my life that I ever felt the emotion of "in your face, buddy." So thank you, Billy Hunter, for telling me no. Since then, I felt of a lot of emotion over the years and the support crew who has been there knows who they are. Those who made the trip here, thank you, Mom and Dad, siblings, and Heidi, for your love and unwavering support. sharing life and all the trying and triumphant moments. Much love, and thank you for allowing me to play and live in the moment.